Hello and welcome to Business Exposed, the podcast which discusses the unfiltered truth and reality of running a business day to day. This week's guest is David Smart. David's business has multiple arms, however, all centred around the world of property, from home renovations, buying, selling, and ultimately he has a solutions-based business which is all centred around what the seller is looking for. Myself and Lynn have definitely learned a lot this week. As always, if you could like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on and share with as many people as possible. I'm sure you would like to connect with David, so I'll put all his social handles on the show notes below. In the meantime, sit back, relax and enjoy.
So David, we all know you obviously in the property field, so tell us a wee bit about your background, how you, what your schooling was like and how it all started off for you, and what was your pivotal point in changing your career path?
Schooling was fine. Just a normal upbringing, just a kind of daft young boy. But I was never great in school. I was very average. I think I've never met somebody that's had, standard grades. It was standard grades when we done it. And every single one of my subjects, I got a free. So I think 1 and 2 is credit, 3 and 4 is general. Yeah. I get a free for everything. All 8 subjects. I've never met anybody else that's done that. It's just so average. I've been quite like the kind of average throughout my full life as such. Like even at football, it's always a steady 7. I was never brilliant, but never shit. And then school, I've always just kind of been like that throughout my life. So school was fine, and then after that, I went to. I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. My dad was getting me into interviews for different places, a Spark apprenticeship, a joinery one. Just I didn't bother with university or anything like that, so I couldn't. I got all freeze, but so I was kind of right into the trade. My dad's a painter and decorator, but I definitely wasn't doing that. And I managed to find a place in Kirkintilloch called Filterclear. It was like a water filtration company. Right. They put me into a heating and ventilation apprenticeship. So commercial, industrial heating I was doing, so big buildings and stuff like that. But I was doing the water filtration at my job, so it didn't quite match. Anyway, that company went bust. I went and finally got a job as an actual heating engineer to finish my apprenticeship. And then after that, I'm meant to just give you all this full story.
The more the better. I love listening to people's backgrounds, they're so interesting.
Yeah. So after that, I was like, it's actually my dad again. My dad said, have you ever thought about going offshore? And I was like, what's offshore? And I remember actually in the college, like doing the college part of my apprenticeship, and I started Googling oil rigs and offshore and oil and gas and all that sort of stuff, and I was like, oh, fuck, that looks really good. I quite fancy a bit of that.
Have a wee bit of that. The money will be good, I would imagine.
Aye. So I was like, I've always had this thing, and I'm very, very easily led, very like, just like if I see something, it looks amazing what to do it. I'm just that type of guy, man. And then it didn't work out, and maybe try something else, and then get led into something else. And that was just.
Well, that's how you learn.
Do
you know what I mean? And it's how you find something that you're passionate about, because unless you try all different things, if you've not got an idea, that then gives you a lane to stay in.
Yeah. That's pretty much. You'll probably find that the more I talk about the sort of stuff that I've tried to go into. And obviously I've got these multiple businesses now, and it's like, that's because I can't see shite without one. I mean, everybody says so that's an opportunity, and I'm just very much like, if this is an opportunity that fits me, then I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work out, at least I can say I've tried it. Absolutely. And I can learn, and I can go, right, that wasn't for me, but I know now. I know what I want now. So that's kind of what I've done throughout my life. But so at 6 months out my apprenticeship, I went offshore. So I spent my savings on offshore courses at Christmas. Just tried so hard to get my start, and eventually 4 months later in April I got my first start. It was in a wee island called Flotta in Orkney, and it was like an oil terminal. I was there for 2 years. Then I eventually went into the North Sea, and then spent like the next 8 years in the North Sea over in Azerbaijan, a few trips as well. Wow. That was the kind of furthest ever went, was over in Baku, which was really interesting. Absolutely loved it. But the time came, like COVID was like the biggest, the spike you've seen in people try to start their businesses and everything like that, all off the back of COVID. I was one of them. My boy was born in the January. COVID hit in March. We get down manned from the rig, helicopters coming, there's an outbreak, everything like that. So everyone's like, not having a clue what's happening. The world's ending type thing, isn't it? And, I went from earning good money to nothing. and then been back home for 3 or 4 months, double that up with seeing my boy, and then like try to go back offshore. I think it was in July, August or something. I was like, this is not the same game for me
It's
anymore.
not.
And my boy,
Totally
like,
changes.
I was like, in my mindset, I'd started learning about property. My mindset was totally different.
Yeah.
And then it scared the shit out of me. The fact that the one stream income thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, when you're Googling all this stuff, that's what you see, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, multiple streams of income and all that. So that was something that's always stuck with me, to be honest. It did stick with me, that. And it just wasn't the same game. It was not the same game for me, and I just had to get out there.
Mm-hmm.
And in October that year, I went and done my education, done Paul's course, and that kind of just, that's it. You know, I didn't go back offshore.
Right.
Little did I know that that was going to happen. You know, I was planning on going back, and I was going to try and see how it worked, and I just made the decision on the Friday, I think, that I'm going to give this 100%. I'm going to not go back offshore. My plan was to get a job in the shipyards. I went on to the weekend shift. I managed this. So all kind of the plan actually worked out, and I look back on it. I've never actually spoke this much in depth about it, but you know, my plan was, right, I'm going to chuck offshore. I'll take a wage drop, but I'm going to give this 100%. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get in the shipyards, and I'm going to get weekend shift. And an odd team worked out, so I got in the shipyards, managed to wangle my way into the weekend shift. So that was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 12 hours. And then give you Monday to Thursday to kind of do the business.
I focus
you
on
know, and obviously I was giving my family wee half days here and there. So, you know, when people say, like, how do you do it? How did you do it so quick and stuff like that? Like, I still only probably committed 3 full days a week.
Right.
It was all the extra work I was doing. So I was taking my laptop to shipyards with me, getting a bit of a reputation that way. Like, oh, look at him, what's he doing and stuff like that. And then at night when Sonny was down, I was like, my laptop was back out. So it was like all these wee extra bits you're doing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it just kind of snowballed for there. So that was kind of my story from a sort of school to
up to there. So was it Paul? So you went through Paul? Was it Paul McFadden's prodigy course? Did you do?
Yeah, I done that in October 2020.
Okay, so you've obviously just got multiple kind of businesses in the property world just now. What was the kind of first almost strategy or first bit in property that you decided to do?
Property sourcing. So I've got an obsession with cash flow. Cash flow is king. No cash for me. It's like, because cash flow is going to run your business, and it's going to help you with the outgoings and everything like that. So I was, you know, I just so heavy on, I need to get cash flow, because cash flow is going to pay my mortgage. It's going to, you know, put food on the table, all this sort of stuff we talk about. But it's true, you know, if you've got the cash flow coming in, it's all right to say, I want to go and build my portfolio. I didn't start doing that this year.
Yeah,
I wasn't interested in it, because I wanted cash flow to come in so that I could grow my businesses, so that I could then hire a team, so that I could, you know, get this new system. It costs £200 a month, so I could, you know what I mean? So cash flow for me was absolutely key, and I couldn't see a quicker way to do it than source. Yeah. So if you're sourcing, you're making, you know, 3, 4, 5 grand a deal, sometimes more if the deal's really good, depending on how you structure it and everything like that. But the start I was making 2 grand a deal, and I got a lot of good overseas. You know, Barry was on, I listened to Barry's. And, I sold one of his deals. That was the start of our relationship, and it's finding people like that within my network, because I managed to get some good overseas investors early on. So what happened was, I got these investors just kind of out of nowhere putting up this horrendous deal on all the pages.
Right.
And then a woman came forward and says, you know, it's not for me. I don't really like it. And I was thinking, she could be wasting my time coming to Dumbarton, but she had overseas investors in Hong Kong.
Right.
So that was my in.
Right,
you know,
okay.
And I think in sourcing now, you need to try and find an in. You need to try and find, like, is it an agent contact? Is it an investor? Is it, you know, you need to find, that was mine, basically. Yeah. And that's what I look back at. I was just I managed to do 10 deals with them.
Wow.
But they 10 deals set me up, because what happened was, like, Barry Wilson and other people were going, David's got investors, I'm going to take my deals to him.
Yeah.
And that really escalated me quite quickly.
Yeah.
You know, so it's property source, and I still to this day, that's what we still do, basically. We're just doing it at a higher level.
Yeah.
But I still swear by it. I think everybody in property sourcing to an extent anyway, in my opinion, because you're always looking for deals, aren't you?
Yeah, of course.
You're looking for your next deal, regardless how that is. But it gets looked down on, it gets kicked, it's property sourcers, this, and, you know, they've not got a clue, it's entry level and stuff like that. And I get it to an extent, but as long as you just do things right and you work hard and you graft, and people will help people do well if they can see they've actually got a passion for it. And I think that's what happened to me. That's how Barry gave me the time of day, and other people along the way. They could see that, you know, this isn't just some wee daft they try to, he's actually trying to do it properly, make a change, and just be a bit genuine about it.
And at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. You either and it's up to them. The deal's either for them or not for them. But they might know somebody else that will take it on from you.
That was and that's exactly what happened. It was just me putting out a deal, no really having a clue. It doesn't matter how much education you do, how much you spend, how many days it is. It's what you do after that education. 100%. That's when you're going to learn the most.
Yeah.
And I just ran with the sourcing aspect of it. As I say, it was easy to fall into, I want to build a portfolio and stuff, but that wasn't going to get me cash flow. Yeah. That wasn't going to get me away from offshore for good or away from the shipyards as soon as possible. But cash flow was, property sourcing was.
Yeah.
So that was still to this day, I think it's the best form of cash flow in property. Yeah. It'll take you 2, 3, 4, 5 years to build a portfolio. It gives you really good cash flow that's going to pay your mortgage and everything like that. And then if you get a flip, absolutely brilliant, but you're still waiting all that time to renovate it, to find the money to renovate it, for it to sell and everything, so but I mean, I'm a big believer in you create your own luck, but I did get lucky at the start. I feel I definitely did, putting that deal out there when I put it out to get that letting agent that had the investors, and then eventually I got my own kind of in with the investors and stuff like that, and it all just kind of snowballed for there.
I mean, it's back to that saying, isn't it? The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Aye.
As you said,
it's all these sayings. I find them dead cheesy at times, right? But some of them are so true. That one is so true.
It is so true, because you said a minute ago you can get as much spent as, and let's be honest, right? I mean, I don't know you, but I do see it a lot in the property world. You see people spending fortune after fortune after fortune in education, and there's only one thing they're not doing is getting off their arse and doing something about it, right? And I'm like, what are you doing spending all this money? Just go and go to a networking event and it costs you next to nothing for a ticket and just speak to people, and then you're actually going to start to maybe generate some traction off of the back of that, instead of just ploughing into education.
Yeah, it's all right, like investing. I've not got an issue with it at all, but you need to take the action. Because I've obviously got my own network, and like I feel like I repeat myself all the time. Like, go back, use the fundamentals. Like, the social media is the most powerful thing we've all got here that people don't even use properly. Like, go and post stuff, go and tell people what you're doing, go to the networking event, have conversations with people, like, all these stuff that, like you said, costs very, very little. Just go and put yourself out there a wee bit, get out your comfort zone a wee bit. Things just start happening slowly but surely. It doesn't all just, happen at once, but you need to give yourself the opportunities for it to happen. Because when you come off the courses, I know what it's like as well, like, you're on top of the world, man.
You're buzzing,
you're absolutely. I'm leaving my job. I'm going to be rich, and that's what they feed into you. They're very, very good at doing that. And then day after day, I'm up my attic and I'm like, I've not got a fucking clue what I'm doing here. And I'm looking through my notes, and it's like, and then day after day, you've slowly been deflated a little bit more. And that's when, like, people don't take the action. I feel like there's this period where that's them, they're going to really struggle now. You really need to just start taking some sort of action, whatever that is.
We've said before as well, it's quite lonely when you're doing it on your own.
100%.
And you've not got people to bounce off it. And if you've got people that have got high energy like you, and you're bouncing off of you, you'll be like, that'll give you momentum in itself. Do you know what I mean? So when you are sitting on your attic, or you're in your wee office, or you're sitting behind your laptop and you're still trying to work things out, and you're going, oh my God, what have I done?
It's daunting.
It's
daunting, isn't it? It's definitely. And it's.
But there's nothing. I totally agree that the first deal that I got, that I managed to get an investor, and that I actually managed to get an investor as well, I was like over the moon, and it just lifts you. But you've got to keep that momentum going, or again you just go back down again.
I think you also need to turn off to some of the closest people around you, because a lot of the closest people around you, I mean, think of it, you've had a good job offshore, right? You'd have been making good money. That's like the pinnacle of jobs for a lot of people. That's it. I've reached it now. I'm making a lot of money. So when you start to get that, it's funny, because when you speak to a lot of business owners, a lot of them have came from a similar thing. Like, they've had a good job, or in a good job, a good salary in a corporate world, and they've think about it. You've risked that salary to go and do what you're doing, and the closest people, probably more from a protection point of view, try to go, I don't know if that's a good idea. And you need to be able to just turn off to that and just and trust yourself, have your own belief that I know in myself, my capabilities, I can do this. And I'm not going to listen to, maybe sometimes might be your partner, your mum, your dad.
100%. Everybody doubts you at the start. Everybody doubts you at the start. My dad, my mum, my dad's old school, he's like, what are you doing, David? You had a good job offshore. My missus, you know, I said to her, I'm going to go up my attic. These are the days I'm going to commit, you know, and she's like, right, go and see how it goes. Go and give it a try. Because at the time, it is just a try. And as I say, like, I had tried other things, you know, like when I was offshore and we had some downtime, somebody showed me how to do DJ decks, and that was me. I was like, I'm going to get decks and all that. So I bought the GoPro. I've done GoPro video and editing and stuff. So I've always been like, that looks amazing, I'm going to try it. She's an addictive personality that way. So when the property thing came round, it was easy for them to go, here's another thing, you know, give
just
it a
another
bash.
thing to add to the list he's going to do.
Yeah.
It was, you know, obviously you throw shit at the wall, it'll stick.
Yeah.
Behind the property stuff
Something will work. And especially if you've tried it and you've got that passion for it, that drives you forward. So it's
definitely a passion thing, but it literally is for me. And I didn't realise this to no long ago, by the way. It's like when I was with the offshore thing, it was like, go and spend my money, go and get offshore courses. Like I've always had something, I've always wanted a bit more, you know, and then the property thing, that's a bit more from the offshore, that was like different, but albeit, you know, it's been hard work and stuff like that, but if I didn't try it, I would just have regretted it.
Yeah.
And that's just what I'll always go by. If I don't try this, I'm just going to regret it.
Yeah.
See if I fuck it up and it doesn't work. Big wow, at least I gave it a bash.
That's
I know.
right.
But you've got all that, you've got all the doubters. You 100% have the doubters, and then you've got the people that you're like, when you first start putting your face on camera, you're like, that's what my pal's going to think.
I know.
shit like that, do you know what I mean?
know. But I don't know how, you know, that maybe that your pals in that circle, but you know, took to that. But I find along the way, you also, when you enter into a new world and you make your new pals, there'll still be some pals you'll have close, you know, from your old life, but you're almost going into a completely different life, because a lot of people who are in that kind of employment space and will never be self-employed or own a business, you know, when they're in that mental space, they don't understand really what we do, and they just hear the word, oh, you're taking a risk, but they don't really understand what the risk is and the consequences of you if you take the risk. So you end up kind of detracting a wee bit for the old life, and you enter into almost a new life with a new
people that understand it more and stuff like that. Like my core group of pals, we've been a sort of core group for years and years growing up, and I've still got them, and they're all supportive and stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, at the start, like, they were probably their eyebrows were probably raised as well. Like, what's he up to now? Do you know what I mean? But like, they're still that's still my, almost like my release sort of pals. Still see you, speak to them, play football with them, everything. You know, and I feel like that's important. I don't feel like you should ever. You know, I get what you mean, and you do go into a new network and new groups of pals and people that understand more, but they're my pals growing up, and I'll never forget, like, where I've, you know, where you've came from and stuff like that. It doesn't matter how successful I'm going to be, you know, hopefully I'll go on to be quite successful, but I'll never ever detract myself from my upbringing and stuff like that. You know, it's just not really got that in me. I feel like that's important to go there and almost be grounded and be pulled down and be wound up and stuff like that, even although they support and respect what you've done.
No, mate, I totally agree with you, because it's like my kind of core group of pals, right, are very similar. There's nobody in that group that has their own business, etc. So, and I think it is like a release when I meet for them or go for. We generally sort of meet every so often, go for a wee bit of lunch, etc. They're starting to have families now and we're on that kind of journey together. But it's good because, yes, it's good to be in the room of other business owners, other entrepreneurs, but let's be honest, we're all 100 mile an hour, we're all wired to some way, right? And that's generally the subject that we're talking about. But it's good to go to another group and there's no business chat. There's no 100 mile an hour, right? And it's you use the word the release a minute ago. It's good to go back to that and like, you're detracting a wee bit from it.
I went back and played football this year. Like, I'm 35-year-old now. Played football all my life. COVID changed that, and then I've kind of tried to make wee comebacks here and there. But I went back to play Sunday football where a lot of my pals play, and like, that's a release as well. You just go, I take the wee man with me, and it's brilliant. Even though I'm injured now, I get injured my first game, but I'm still like going. And I'm definitely keeping myself on, but I'm still going. I'll give it a bash, but it's just like that as well. Like, back to doing things that you used to do all through growing up. I played football all my life, and you know, who's to say that has to stop? You know, because you've got a business and stuff. I used to get like caught up in, I'm not doing enough. Why am I watching Netflix? Why am I doing this? Oh, I should be working. And I did go through a stage where I was like purely focused on any spare minute my laptop was out. And even now, I'm still pretty bad at night. The kids will go down and I'll get my laptop out because I've got stuff that I need to do as a business owner. But back then it was just, I need to be doing, I need to get out. Like, well, I can't be watching Netflix. I can't be playing football. I can't be doing this. Like,
you feel guilty almost.
You do 100%. You know,
because you think, wait a minute, I'm not being productive here at all.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, noticed more recently that my energy levels right now are like
Really?
a little bit lower.
How come?
But I think it's just because of you're constantly behind a laptop, or I'm running at Scotland, or a wee plug there. Or I'm trying to fit in an Asda run. I'm still looking after the house, and I just feel like. But then when I'm doing all those things, I feel guilty because I'm thinking I should be doing something else with the business.
Yeah.
But all those things still need done. I can't stop being a mum, and I can't stop being running the house. See,
the thing is, you never ever really give yourself credit in this industry. I don't
absolutely
think. You don't realise you've just got this big portfolio, haven't you? And you like to refinance it and stuff. And I was speaking to you that time, and it's like, God, that's amazing. Like pulling out all your money, or most of your money, whatever it is, and then it's like, fucking well done. Do you know what I mean? But you're always just like, aye, that's great, but what's next? That's great. But I'm not doing enough. And you're always just beating yourself up. I'm trying to now change my mindset a wee bit to, like, with playing the football again, and I said to my missus, I'm not going to work on a Saturday, so I used to work Saturdays, and I'm like, fine, just do it. Like, enjoy your weekend. I work enough. I do work a lot during the week. As I say, I'll get my laptop out at night.
Yeah.
I'll start at 8. I'll go home about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and at night. So it's like, just enjoy it. So I'm trying to change it a wee bit.
It's just a little bit, isn't it? So you're not ignoring the other good bits as well. And my daughter was moaning at me the other day there as well, thinking she's been off for the school holidays and we've done nothing. Really? I've done nothing with her because I'm genuinely, right now, feel like one of those pinball machines that you pull back and the ball just goes ding, 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 ding. And by the end of the day, I feel like I've achieved nothing, but I'm run off my feet. How is that? And then, of course, you get the guilt trip about, we've done nothing, Mum. I've been off for 6 weeks and I've literally not even taken it. I'm sitting at night going, oh my God, do you want to watch a movie? But I'll have to be at 10 because I'm really busy before then.
The thing is, it is. I mean, obviously, I know our kids are at slightly, different ages. My kids are 4 and 5. The youngest one just about to go into primary 1 in a couple of weeks, but they're that age where they know something's different, but they're not old enough to kind of absorb the full thing. And I was literally the other day getting the same thing. Dad, we've not went a summer holiday, etc. And I'm trying to explain to them in a simple diplomatic way because of their age, right? I'm like, right, we're going to go on holiday in January, but here's the reasons why. Dad's had this on, Dad's had that. You've seen me do this, you've seen me do that. And I try and take them on the journey with me, was at a renovation the other day 2 days ago, and the youngest one's like, Dad, remember I have to paint this one, so I try to bring them on the journey with you, but there is that, like, I suppose everything comes at a cost, isn't it? There's a sacrifice for everything, and unfortunately, whether it's the holidays or the kids or whatever it is, that's a sacrifice for a better life. That's what we're all trying to create, really, isn't it? For us all.
It just comes a point where you probably just need to say to yourself, right, we're doing all right. I'm doing all right here. Do you know what I mean? I've done this. I've achieved this, and I'm just dead guilty for it. I'm dead guilty for, like, right, that's great, but what's next? What's next? And even Adam, my sales manager, he was like, we need to celebrate the wins more. I'm like, you're right, we do. Because we've done some unbelievable deals this year, and we're like, right, so it's, that's great, but it's next. I'll go for it. Even just go for a lunch or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I do try. I probably say I'm all right at it, but it's just, you're always in it. I don't think it's a bad way to be as well. That driven way where you're just, trying. You're always thinking about, but same thing. You need to celebrate the wins a wee bit and enjoy the time with the family.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think sometimes as well you do become a wee bit numb to the numbers, right? See, when you're doing deals and they're big profitable deals, you're right, with a similar mentality, you sometimes just become numb to it, right? And it's just a number on a screen. Whereas when you look at some deals and you're refinancing and pulling cash out, and you just think, there's one that I'm about to do and it completes, we're going to pull 90 grand out, right? Now, see, but I'm looking at it going like that, it's 90 grand in it, but I'm thinking, right, I've already got that 90 grand spent, it's already going into the next deal, right? Whereas if I look at it back in my old job, if £90,000 landed in my account, right, that was like a lottery win. But whereas it could land and no land, it's already spent in the next deal anyway. 100%. So you sometimes become numb to big numbers. You do. And you're like, Jesus, that's a lot of money.
Aye. That's what it is. It's the numbness to the numbers and the figures you're actually doing. It's because, like you say, it's just churning away into something else. It's getting recycled into something else all the time. Like, all the time I'm like, I left myself so skint at the end of last year, like ridiculously skint, and I've got businesses and I've got these deals going on, and I'm like, but I had money out in a couple of assisted sales and I was buying some stuff and I had a flip on the go, and I use investors' money, but I try and use my own money and all a lot of the time. I like doing that.
Yeah.
I don't like using investors for absolutely everything. I like having a bit of skin in my own game, I suppose. And then I had this wee opportunity to get my first buy to let, which I wasn't even bothered about doing, and it was in Royston Road, wee one bed. I was pulling out most of my money, and I was like, I've no money to do this, but I'm going to somehow find how to do it. And then I went into November, December, like, I'm so fucking scared. It's unbelievable. Literally, all my accounts emptied.
Yeah.
But all the money's out there.
Yeah.
And then in the start of the new year, it started to come back in, and it was a sweet feeling. But I'll try and not get myself to that, because I remember thinking, I had a team and I had wages to pay and stuff, and I was like, this is too much. It's too far, you know, it's too close to the line.
Too close to the
even though
line,
it's out there, it's working, it's going to come back, it's going to make you money. It was just an uncomfortable couple of months. And so I always make sure I get a wee cushion there, but I just spot on. It's back out. It's what you know what it's like now with the mindset you've got. It's like if it's sitting there, it's just burning a hole in your pocket. It has to be out making you money rather than sitting there, doesn't it?
100%. And you're deliberately making sure there's nothing in your account, basically, because you're like, it's just wasting money sitting there. Why do I want it? But it's like an addiction, as you say. It's like, it's like you're just moving things about all the time. And we were talking this the other day, and I think one thing will all be the same. One I've certainly became good at is the ability just to move money. Like, see, as you said, when you've not got any cash, you end up finding it from somewhere. You manage to pull it from somewhere, and you're like, where did that ever come from? But it's back in your own life, I'd be like that, to find 10 grand or something like that would have took me 10 years to save. But you suddenly just find these, ways of finding money.
It's the network and the business mindset you've got and stuff like that, innit? It's like it's money's more an abundance thing, and people have got it. If you've got a good enough deal, you'll find it and stuff like that, which I truly believe in, especially with the sort of networks we're all in, and there's different investors in there and whatnot. So
there's definitely, you hit the nail on the head there, there's definitely a lot of money out there when you start to speak to not even necessarily business owners, but just speak to normal people, because when you're looking for an investor,
family, friends.
I was going to say, it's amazing how much money you find out your family and friends have got sitting in their bank account when you start to say, by the way, I could offer you a good return, and suddenly somebody pulls out 10 grand or whatever the number is, you're like, where did that come from? I thought you told me you were skinned.
I know, even 10 grand or for half your renovation or something, it's just 10 grand and you give them a wee bit of return, and it's like, you know what I mean? My cousin invested 150 into our cottage project.
Wow.
And just stuff like that. And do you know what's great about that as well? Because see, when I was saying, when you're first coming through and you're trying to, I was saying to my dad, he's got unencumbered property. So I'm like, Dad, I'm going to take money at your house. I can make money. I'll give you a return and all that. And he's like, David, shut up, man. He's already in this mindset where, why have you even left offshore? You're an idiot.
He's still giving you a hard time about that.
He's giving me so a year later, he's then allowed me to use his property as basically security over a purchase. So I was buying something in Byers Road and wanted a 2-bed conversion. And it was his brother's house, so it was my uncle's house. But so that's, I was like, Dad, I'll use your house here.
Right.
And the conversation was a lot easier. I had a year behind me where he'd actually seen me do things, credibility, and he let me do it. And that was a sweet moment, because he was very much like, what are you doing here? You've left a good job and stuff like that, to, you can use my house and signing paperwork and all that, and shit hits the fan, you might be, you know what I mean? So, and again with my cousin, it's like that. Almost that credibility, they've watched you. People are always watching you, aren't they? You don't even realise.
You don't think
and
they
then
are.
when you go to ask for the money, it's like, right, David, let's have a chat about it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely is a wee sweet moment, because I've experienced that myself. My dad, maybe that you're talking probably sounds quite similar. He's got old school, keeps the money in the bank. He's got his own business, but from a different generation of business owners, And right back at the start, he was just saying, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "You've got a good job. You've got a good job. Why you want to risk this and why you want to leave it?" And I remember one time he actually said to me, and I felt deflated, right? It was after a couple of months, he went, "You do realise you're going to need to find a job at some point in time," as if I was going to need to return back to that old world, right?
That's what made you feel deflated. I was thinking about having to go back.
having to go back, 100%. But again, and I remember I was taking out just a mortgage and just one of the refurbs into an SA, and I think the mortgage was like £700 a month or something like that. And I can remember the conversation in the kitchen. He was having a meltdown. He's like, this is another mortgage, it's another debt, £800 a month. And I'm like, aye, but it's going to cash flow £4,000 a month, right? Who cares about the £800, right? And then the same property 2 weeks ago, right? We've got a good contractor booking that just kind of repeats booking all the time. 14 nights the other day, £3,900 or something like that. And
where's that?
Over in Isle of Bute.
Is it? Aye, brilliant. Aye, superb.
I think it worked out $250 a night, something
Did you
like
get
that.
lending all right?
Aye, but it is a bit more
Tricky,
challenging,
aye.
right? Generally 70% loan to value.
Right.
A lot of them are non-standard construction, because if you literally, I don't know if you've ever been over there, but even a lot of these Highlands and Islands, if you look at any of the standard main streets, every property is different because they've all been built in different time eras. You've got a new build in between something built in 1300, something in between 1900s. It is generally challenging, but because most of my portfolio is in these kind of locations, then the lender, I'm using the same lender, and they kind of sort of know the gig. When they start to get to know you, don't they?
That's it.
Then it does become a bit
definitely.
easier. But I remember the first one was a nightmare. I had to take a really low loan to value, had a lot of cash tied up in it, and then I ended up financing it a couple of years later. But when you start to, as we said earlier on, everything's relationship based, isn't it? Especially with the lenders, when they start to get to know you, what you're all about. Same with the surveyors as well. When you're using the same guys all the time in the same location, they're generally not in that long because they know the standard of refurb, they know the standard of your tradesman, don't they? And everything just becomes a lot more
a lot
slicker.
simpler, yeah.
No, we've got quite a good relationship with the surveyor. We use Graham and Sybil quite a lot because they're good to us, you know what I mean? And we've also got the agency as well now, so it's like we're getting a lot of home reports pushed through from clients. We're saying, listen, use them because they're really good and stuff like that. So relationship's massive, definitely.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So talk to us a wee bit, because you do have, obviously I follow you on social media, as much as I'm maybe involved in the same network. For anybody that's listening, this is the first time I have met you, but when I follow you on social media, you seem to be spinning a lot of different plates. So you've went in multiple businesses. So you went for the sourcing business, right? So talk to us about a couple where you've sort of, the arms have grown a wee bit, because you've now got the estate agents as well.
Aye. So the idea was, I wanted to have an end-to-end model for investors. So the sourcing was, the natural progression for that is you source a property and then they say, how am I renovating it? Especially if it's overseas clients, they need the full works. So I was doing the sourcing. I was running about doing the renovations, project management, which I didn't really have a clue about, to be honest. Albeit, obviously, it came from a heating engineering background offshore, but the actual project management of a residential property was a wee bit alien to me, so I had to learn all that. I had to learn on the job, and I just kind of I just kind of winged it, I suppose, a wee bit for the first couple.
Let's be honest, but we all are that. See, when you look
aye.
at the most successful people, right, they're all just winging it and taking risks and just
nobody
going with
who
it.
gets into property that knows property before. Nobody, like, you don't get into property doing what we're doing, and it's like, you've got a background, you need to learn it all. You learn it. It's like, no, you can't go and do a course for it, really. I don't think anyway, can you?
No,
college course, not a uni degree. It's just, you get into
that
it.
That might be the next thing you're starting.
I know,
I can't start anything else. I can't.
A uni property degree.
Run another company, I don't think. So I the sourcing, so it was the renovations, and then my business partner Linda and my letting company, Linda and Libby, is my two business partners. My letting company's actually the only company I've actually got business partners in.
Right.
But they manage everything. So basically, I wanted the end-to-end model, and I wanted my brand name behind it. I wanted my name behind it, because I wanted my sourcing career, if you like, is very much been about transparency. No pulling the wool over any investor's eyes, just presenting the numbers. Like, you're not actually trying to sell the deal, you're presenting the deal, and you're guiding them along to make a decision. If you don't want it, there might be another investor that does want it, but the last thing I want is you being pushed or in a salesy manner to buy this deal, and then it bites me in the arse. So that was always my sort of thing. So I wanted my kind of brand name behind it. And I managed to kind of get that with, obviously, Smart Property. Started Smart Property Sourcing. It's now Smart Sales and Investments, Smart Home Improvements, my renovation arm, and Smart Property Lets. And the renovation arm...
There's a few plates to spin.
It is, mate, especially when you've got your own stuff going on, and you've got flips, portfolio building, and I've got my network as well, and it's like, there's a lot, but I've built a good team now. So at the start, it was quite heavy going, and sometimes you hit stages where, like, oh, shit, I just had it with my home improvement company, where it's almost like I pushed the button on the ads and stuff like that, and all these jobs have come in, and I'm like, right, shit, I need to put these ads off, because Gary McDougall's my project manager.
Right.
And we've got a good team of trades and stuff, but he's like, what's going on here, man? There's so much good. So, and I put a lot on him. So now I've got Alana, my wife, who I'm training to do the financial part of it.
Right.
So she keeps an eye on all the finances, outgoings, incomings for the jobs. Gary will project manage, and I've got a meeting today actually with somebody that I'm hopefully going to have doing the sort of surveying side of it. So phoning the leads, booking appointments, going to the surveys, getting quotes out, and then hopefully that will stabilise that a wee bit, and then I can chip away at growing that out again a wee bit. But nearly it's just kind of, as I say, the two Linda and Louise, they're brilliant. They just run the day to day. I'll provide as much business as I can. My sales is my bread and butter. That's my biz. That's the business I'm in. It's the business I'm always trying to grow, because that feeds everything else as well. A lot of the time, you know. So that's a model I wanted. I went for it, as I say. It was a full, like, I would love to have this end-to-end model where I can keep the clients in my ecosystem constantly, and that's what's kind of happening now. If the letting company, if they want to sell, they're coming back to me, and I'm able to kind of keep monetising them as such. So that's it, and it's grown, and they've all grown at a kind of steady pace. You know, I know there's this big argument in the business world where you focus on one thing. I've heard so many people on social media say you focus on one thing, you make it amazing, and then you go to something else. I just call bullshit to that, because I'm big on creating the multiple streams income thing was a big thing for me, but I've not created businesses where they're all disjointed, they're all interlinked in one way. And even my network now, I bought my business partner out of that recently, so I've took 100% of that, and I've managed to even grow that like substantially this year since taking that over. And it's that kind of interlinks to the sales business, because a lot of these guys that you're giving help to and assistance, a bit of education, like they're then coming to you with the deals, and you're able to do some deals with these guys as well. So it's like all the businesses are kind of working together,
simultaneously.
Albeit there is obviously a lot of plate spinning. But I honestly love it. I love what I've built. It's hard work. There's times where you come in and it's like, this has happened, and that's how you need to just kind of navigate it all. And see, to be honest as well, I don't sit here and call myself this big businessman. I've came from offshore, heating engineer. I didn't have a clue about business. And see, even still now, I feel like, is this the right decision? I overthink things. I've got several different mentors that help me with different things. Right. And I'm always kind of leaning on them, and it's like I'm always overthinking decisions. Even when I'm going to hire, it's like, is it right? Is it not? Even though I know it is, I need to do it. I'm like, what about this? What about that? And I'm not. I'm the first one to say, like, business, I'm still always kind of, try to suss it out, try to navigate it. Yeah. Albeit I could probably look back and go, look, I've actually done all right. But as I say, you very rarely do that. You're always just trying to
look forward.
You try to try to suss out what's the right decision, what's the wrong decisions, how do I keep my team happy, how do I, that's all the sort of things I'm always trying to navigate in my head, because I don't know the next steps all the time. People say, what's your 3-year goal, 5-year goal? I've not got a clue. I just want to keep growing my businesses the way that it's going now. Obviously something's working, hire in the right areas when I need to, spend the money where I need to in marketing and stuff like that, and hopefully, I don't know, hopefully like, it all just kind of gets to a point where I can then go, right, now I know exactly what the long-term plan is. Right now I'm still in such a growth phase with it all,
At the end of the day, you've obviously got a good eye on over all of them. So you know exactly what's happening with them, and you know exactly where they're going, and you know where you want them to go. So that's half the battle, isn't it?
That's 100%. I know where they want to go. I know I want to keep, like, I don't want to say, like, I'm going to scale this to the moon, this business, and leave these other ones behind. I'm all kind of trying to grow them at the same time, so that they're still interlinking at the same pace and whatnot. So that's it. That's really my focus, especially towards the end of the year. A big push in the sales business. Now we've just launched new ad campaigns, and we've not really done it because I've got a marketing manager, I've got a videographer. That's really helpful for the sort of stuff I'm doing, especially when it comes to the marketing campaigns and the social media stuff that we're putting out. So that's all. And again, that's in multiple businesses. It's helped me do that. One business, focusing on one business, I couldn't have that. But I'm able to have it through having different businesses and different streams of income and stuff like that. So it's really, really worked for me. It's really helped me. Albeit, it can be stressful, but they're just all kind of chipping away at them. And then going into 2026, we'll all have different goals, don't we? But I'll then reevaluate it then. I like to just reevaluate. The biggest one for us this year was 20 sales in one calendar month. We've done it this month, July. We managed to do 22. So it's like, what now? We've hit it in July, so it's like, right, I don't know. let's just keep. I'm no. It's like I'm not this guy that's got all these like. Right, this is what we need to do now, and I've got this next goal and that next goal. It's like brilliant, we've hit it. Like let's keep chipping away, and let's as I say, I don't really call myself this big fancy businessman, So
I'm quite the same as you, and I don't know if it's for I came from a world in my old job, right, where everything, right, was like planned to. It was like military precision, right. It was like literally at the start of the year, right. What is the company's goals for the years? How many sales? What does that equate to a month? What does that equate to a day? It was literally pretty much down to almost what does that equate to the hour, right? But it was an absolute lot of shit, right? Because like a plan is only as good as the substance behind it, right? So there's a lot of people get these, big laborious plans and this is my goals and this is what I'm looking for. But the really thing, as we said earlier on, is just getting off your arse and doing something about it. Yeah. I'm quite the same as you. Like I don't know what I'm going to do for the end of the year. I don't know. I just take it day by day and just, Do
you not think there's too many opportunities in this industry to plan things? Like See, when I'm sitting down in there, a lot of people are like all about your goals. You need to have goals because you need to know what you're aiming for and whatnot. And I don't disagree with that, by the way. But every single year, something has happened to me substantial that was nowhere near the plans at the start of the year. That totally deviates what's happening. Mm-hmm. So, for example, I started a property network one year with my ex-business partner. That came out of nowhere. A letting agency, which I kind of had in my head I wanted into model, but it wasn't for then. It was for later on, and then this opportunity came in that. So and then I was speaking to Adam the other day, and it's like one day you're sitting there and it gets to Wednesday and you feel it's been a shit week and nothing's happened. The Thursday you've got 2 properties into legals for yourself. Yeah. Because somebody's brought you these 2 deals and you've done a bit of research on them. It's like, that one ticks my boxes. Yeah. After you just get a property under offer and it almost just changes.
Aye.
It's too many things going on, man, to be mega set on one goal and target, I feel. But that's just me.
See now you've said that there with too many people focusing on the plan. When you think about it, there's probably people, right, missing opportunities because they're too busy focusing the plan because oh no, that's not in my plan, so I'll bypass that deal.
That's fine if that's for them, do you know what I mean? But I'm much more like every opportunity take on its own merit rather than I want to build my business to sell it in 5 years or something like that. Say that's not my plan, but say it was and that's my focus, that's what I'm about to put all my energy into. That's fine if you've got that, but I've just definitely no got that. I'm like you, I'm very much like keep your eyes open. Where's the next opportunity?
Exactly. And if an opportunity presents itself and it's ticking your box, then you're going to do it, aren't you?
Yeah,
not because it didn't land in July or December or whatever. It's just because it's good. And why not?
Definitely.
Do you not think as well? I was thinking about this last week actually, right? Do you not think as well? See when you take see when you've started your first business, right? You're probably certainly lacking the top more experience, right? You become a bit more. It's a bit more risky. You're a bit more nervous, right? Probably quite a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. But see when the next opportunity comes along, you're probably that word numb again. You come a bit numb to it. It's just like you don't probably see as much of the risk in it because it's like you've done it once and know it sort of works, right? You've evaluated the risk, that it's a risk worth taking or not, but you end up getting, as you said, getting these, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do that. But to a lot of people, doing one of these things would be quite a big deal. But when you've done it for the first time, everything else just becomes the norm. We were talking last week. We're just about to open in 2 weeks' time a deli, right? Now, again, completely random, right? No, not myself. Myself, my brother-in-law.
Right.
He's got a business just now as well, and just this opportunity came up, right? And again, it wasn't in the plan. It was absolutely not in the plan. But we came up, we worked on it. We went, the numbers look good, right? And literally within 24 hours, we've just signed the deal on this property, right? And it was so random. He just called me. He went, this opportunity's come up. I went, we'll talk about it. I'll meet you tomorrow. Went down, spoke about it. That's fine. No clue afterwards what I'm going to do, right? Never. But you see an opportunity, then you just run with it. But just a lot of things come up that are not in the plan, and a lot of people will also bring things to you. Yeah, but maybe not in your plan because they know. Hold on a second here, right? You said earlier on with the social media, you've built up that platform of trust and transparency. So a lot of people then start to want to do business with you.
That's right.
It's maybe not on your plan based on trust.
Yeah, absolutely. The deli thing's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. It's like there's nowhere near your plans probably. I would love to have a coffee shop one day. Yeah. I love coffee. I love wee independent coffee shops. I just feel that I'm addicted to Costa, right? I get one every single morning, as I told you before. But it's only because I'm passing it. I think somebody said to me, you're addicted to the routine. Yeah. And that's probably what it is, you know what I mean? But I would just love to have a wee independent coffee shop and then just somebody running it. I'm not really taking much from it, and it's just like, you've just got a wee coffee shop there.
I
It
know.
sounds like the dairy
I
thing.
know, I
It's
know.
just good to have that.
I know, it's part of being a business owner as well. I was in last year and I forget the name of it. The Six Bonico restaurants.
Aye.
They opened up a wee sort of coffee shop, patisserie sort of place up in I think it's in Bayer Road.
Right.
And I was in it last year. And then the guy that owns it just walked in, he's just pulled up, Porsche outside, he's got his Gymshark trackie and that one, probably just been to the gym or something like that. And his wee coffee shop, coffee out again, right? Like, you look like a cool guy. That's what I want. That's what I want, just to be able to just turn up in my Porsche, into my wee coffee shop, right? But again, what people don't see is probably the 20 years of hard work that guy's went through to be able to get that, of absolute hard graft.
Nothing happens quick, and again, it's like this big thing about the courses, isn't it? And it's like you come on here and financial freedom, and this you make 10 grand, 20 grand a deal, that sort of. But you actually can, by the way, right? But that's a different story. But are you making that consistent? Of course, you fucking know you're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's going to. This is an industry where you need to realise it's going to take time.
Yeah.
100%. Even like get into the sourcing, if that really takes off for you and you're generating a lot of cash flow, you're then looking at portfolio. So your cash is, like we're talking about, cash is always out then. So you're never really going to be truly, if this is what you're talking about, financially free or time free, like that. That's the two main sort of aims for everybody, I suppose. But it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. And plus, do you really, I don't even know if I want that. The time freedom thing, I just want to be able to go away and spend my time with my family, do what I want to do when I want to.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sit and retire on a beach. Like, I want to keep building and growing, and still relatively young at 35 years old anyway. So it's like,
I know.
you don't, that's not really, but each their own.
I know.
That's it.
That's the lottery winners mentality. If people say, I'll win the lottery and I'll just retire on a beach somewhere, what are you going to do? Sit and do fuck all for the rest of your life?
That'll get boring
What are you going to achieve? You're not going to
Absolutely.
contribute anything back to society, sitting doing nothing,
Aye.
regardless of how much money you've got
I
in the
think
bank.
they always waste it anyway. The most lottery winners are some stat that they can't, they don't invest it right, and they just
No,
end up
and they're back to
exactly
square one about 2 years down the road, aren't they? Generally.
I know. How did it feel? She's taken on obviously again multiple arms, but she's your first employee.
Yeah.
How did that feel? Because when you're yourself, right, it's hard enough being responsible to pay your own bills.
Aye.
But then when you're responsible for somebody else's, obviously it's not a big deal now because you've got multiple staff. But how did it feel the first time knowing you're responsible for that guy or girl's wages?
Probably the biggest decision I've ever made. Looking back, the amount of conversations I had with Mark, one of my mentors, where he would sit down and he's like, you need to do this, like you need to, and it was, I didn't really have a proper grasp on my finances either at that point, because I was like, just ride it. I was very much one of the type of guy that, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to do deals. See all your sourcing compliance and all that. I didn't get that right away. I'll say that on camera. I don't care that. I didn't get it right. I was like, I'm going to do fucking deals. I'm going to get my money back for the money I've just invested. I'm going to make this shit happen. Like, I'm very much just a doer. Like, going to not just sit there and like, need to do this, need to just get fucking out there and do it. So that was my attitude, right? So when it came to the hiring of, I don't even know why I told that story there. But anyway, when it came to the hiring of,
Do you know why? Because it's honest and genuine. That's why.
It's getting me, man. It came to the hiring Alex. I was like, I don't know. This is. Should I do it? Should I have caused my finances on it? I wasn't had to grasp my finances, and I was trying to suss all that out. And I knew money was coming in, deals were happening, I had deals in the pipeline, and I knew I was like back to the walls, man. It was everything was totally stacking up for me. I knew I needed something. I needed help, and then I took the shitbag way out and given them 20 hours. Initially, I didn't even put it full time. I gave my 20-hour contract, and I was like, well, just see how it goes. And I don't know if I'm going to have enough work for you and all that. And then it's like, Alex was like, right, I'll work full time anyway. I'm no bored, I'm not doing anything. He was working for Curry's actually at the time.
Right. How did you know him beforehand, or
he just kind of applied. I think I can't mind if he'd done any sort of education of that, but he just applied and he's like, listen, I really want this. I think I'd be really good at it. And I just gave my shot, and then 20 hours went to 30 hours, went to full time. So happened really quickly, obviously, because I desperately needed somebody. I was just trying to tell. You have the doubts in your head, obviously. So honestly, that was one of the biggest decisions in my life. Even looking back now, it's easy to say it's easy, like it worked out and everything, and then it helps you grow the business and whatnot. But at the time, because again, I'm not this businessman. I've just came for this offshore construction, and like, what am I doing here? I'm about to hire somebody. This is fucking mental. You know,
It's kind of like a surreal moment.
Head. 100%. You get in your own head, and you just feel like you just start doubting yourself and everything like that. But obviously, it did work out.
Aye, it's another thing you need to get educated on, another world alone, isn't it? It's all very well taking somebody on and this is a salary, but then you start, well, hold on, what do I know about national insurance? What do I know about pension, employers' contribution? Like, you know, this kind of stuff. What do I know nothing about this. I just know what I have to pay them. But it's another thing you're entering another world into altogether.
Yeah.
Yourself.
That's it, and I lean on my accountant a lot for that. Even now, like, I'm just like, what's this? How many holidays did you like? What, you know, I just lean on my accountant for all that stuff because, like, I'm good at what I'm good at, and having an idea about that's fine. Yeah. But you know, he knows it better. Just ask him the questions.
That's as long as you've got it covered, and that's the main thing, isn't it?
Aye.
It's not getting ignored. That's the worst thing you can do.
The team wouldn't allow that anyway. They'd be on me, so aye.
But you put a post up on social media, I think it was last week, the week before, you explained about the model and how you charge the fees. Do you want to talk to us a wee bit about that? Because I think it's quite interesting how you've managed to, certainly the only kind of property sourcer that I know of, certainly anyway, that's been able to take this into a kind of larger business as opposed to a kind of independent organisation, if you know what I mean. Did you want to talk to us a wee bit about that?
Aye. So the sales business is smart sales and investment. So that is like, I came from sourcing and I opened it on the market. I started on the market arm, so we could take deals, properties on Rightmove and Zoopla. Yeah. So effectively, if you're a sourcer and you're doing it right, I did get all my accreditations and by the way.
I just to confirm for anybody that's
so
like social media trolls.
Your PRS, your ICO, your insurance, and your AMLC. I know them all. Yep. So I got all of them relatively quickly, and you are basically an estate agent as a sourcer. So if you get that, that's what you need to be an estate agent. So you are already an estate agent as such, but you're sourcing, you're doing it differently, you're doing it off market, you know, different ways of doing things. And then when I took the business on the market, as well as I've still got all the off-market stuff going on and whatnot, big investor list and everything else, that was just a way to monetize all of our leads. So we can actually say to a seller that we've got an avenue to sell. Now we don't bother saying we need 10%, 20% discount. We just go, what is it you want? Because we can facilitate whatever it is you need. If you need it quick, if you need it, you know, if you want it off market, you know, a wee bit more of a discount. If you want it really quick, you know, it's going to need to be a larger discount because I can buy it myself. We can complete in 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. Or we'll just take it on the market and see what the market wants to do. You know, see what you want to pay. And that was it really. But I didn't want to deviate from what I had done previously from my model. Yeah. Estate agency for me isn't, I don't know if I should name drop here or not, should I? High street estate agents, we'll call them, right?
Yeah. We're probably all of the same opinion anyway, whatever you want to say.
That's no use for me. I wouldn't, it's not what I wanted. I don't want to even be looked at as an estate agent. Yeah. I don't want to be looked at as an auction either. But we are probably sitting somewhere in between both. Yeah. And I still, we have a conversation about this in the office. Like, I still don't really know what we class ourselves as, but because we are obviously an estate agent, you know, but we charge a buyer's fee. So we tend not to put any costs on the sellers. We will take the marketing costs. We will fund that off our own pocket, our own pocket, every single time for the client. And then we can pay the home report. We try and get them to pay the home reports, but we'll take it up front. We'll maybe get back off at the end. We can pay solicitor fees. We can do the assisted sales structures. We've done loads of them this year. If the clients want a wee bit more, but we can't quite get them at the now. It's like, right, okay, let us go and renovate it. We'll secure you to that, and then we'll make a margin on the back end when we go and sell it. We can do just straight standard sales, but we will always, our model is always to try and take the fee from the buyer's end. Yeah. Now, sometimes that ends up, the buyer will say, listen, I want it at purchase price or whatever. So how that's structured, it just depends on the deal and the buyer and the seller. But we will always try and we'll always try and charge a £3,000 plus VAT. We'll always try and do that because we're taking the marketing costs up front. We are, we call ourselves, I know this might sound a bit cheesy, but we definitely are a more solution-based agency because the background we've came from is investments, working with investors, working with sellers that are not wanting to go with your retties or whatever, and they're wanting, you know, the absolute maximum that they can get out of it, and that's not what we want to be either. Yeah. And to be honest, right now, I found ourselves kind of dipping into that side of it a little bit, and I just don't know. It's a little bit uncomfortable because I don't want to be that. I want to kind of stick to our lane. It's just sometimes you're getting offered business, and it's like I'm not going to say no yet, but it's like I'm in a position. I'm in a mindset. Sorry, where I'm kind of like I probably should just say no. That's not us. That's another agent that should be dealing with that.
Yeah,
and really stick to our lane because I know we've got an unbelievable team. By the way, I'm not just saying that. Adam's one of he will be one of the top salesmen in the country at doing what he does. Even some of the companies other companies out there, like he could fit into any single one of the companies. He's really, really good. And we've got Sean that's just joined us now, plus the marketing, the video, and we've got a lot going on in terms of what we do in our social media presence and stuff. But we really are genuinely we will always try and find a solution. Always try and find a solution for that client, whatever's best for them. And we will try and charge our fee. We will try and get a good fee out of it. I'm not trying to hide that or anything like that.
To be in business is to be in profit.
Like an agent's charge, no interested. Because we'll take the marketing, plus we'll send it out to a big database, plus we'll give it a push on social media, plus we just know how to work with the sort of properties we're trying to attract. We know how to work with the buyers to get the good offers, so.
I think it's just like across any industry, people are willing to pay for that level of service. If you look at the standard estate agency model, then as you said, generally what is it they're going to do? They're going to come out, take some photographs, stick it online, and sit
and do very, very little.
Do very little, sitting waiting the phone ringing. And
that's a estate agency.
Yeah.
We're sales.
Yeah.
We are in the sales industry. We are every single Monday we will have a meeting. We'll go through every single property that we have on our either in our pipeline about the agreement's been sent, the agreement's been signed, so the marketing's about to get done. It's now on the market. So we've got statuses for every single property. We'll go through them all one by one. We don't leave any out. If there's any been sitting there for a while, it's like, what are we going to do with this? How are we going to get rid of this? How are we going to get it sold? Have you spoke to them? If it's tenanted, can we speak to the tenant? Like, is there something so we're not just going, nah, that one's on the market, that one's not doing it, that one. A perfect example is we've had one in Glasgow Road. It's a 1-bed flat, cracking high ceilings, cracking flat, by the way. And that's had so many inquiries, but it's got a free for damp. So it's got rising damp. Quite a large portion of the property. And nobody's touching it because of that. So we've sat down last week and we says, what are we doing with this one? It's riddled with inquiries. We can't get, its inbox is full with them, but it's also riddled with damp. So it's like, right, so let's have a chat with her. Let's see if she'll let us go in, do the work. We'll secure an assisted sale, basically. We'll get her a price she's happy with. So she's came back, we've negotiated with her a wee bit and said, listen, we're going to go and spend, we're probably going to spend about seven or £8,000 in total by the time the damp work's done. It gets to the plaster finish, then we need to go in and paint it. We'll probably just tartar up the full property and then we'll get it back in the market and we'll get the sale then. Now, our margin on the back end of that isn't huge, but it's going to get us a sale and it's probably going to hopefully it'll get us more than our standard fee anyway. But then we're going in to do the work and everything and we're getting the property all squared up and ready to actually sell it. So that's a perfect example. That's just one that happened last week and the agreement's signed now. So now the damp work's going to start this week. Like, we're not just sitting there going, that's no selling, we'll just wait, or why don't we reduce the price or whatever. No, let's think outside the box. Like,
I think that's the biggest difference from you guys to your standard main street estate agents, because that is what they do. Whereas you're given an excellent standard of customer service because you're giving people lots of different options and you're letting them have a little bit of control in how it's going to end up, and that's an investment that they're making in you, which I can't see any other way but working well.
I know.
I know it does. I feel like the model has worked well. It's not for everybody. It's sometimes it's quite hard to get the buyers to paying a buyer. So what's that? Because we take all the upfront costs for the seller, blah blah blah. So like I said, it's a little bit abnormal. But it's a model. It has worked. We believe in it, and I won't deviate from it. I won't go to the standard high street way of working. I don't like it.
No. We had a couple of guys on last week sourcing as well, right? Looking at them, Jack and Mark Anderson, asked them the same questions. So it'd be interesting to see your answer as well, right? So I know where you are, I know where your business is, right? But there's definitely a change in the last couple of years with whether it's people like yourself who can offer a lot more in terms of renovations, or whether it's even like the independent estate agents, right? Do you think there's going to be like a change in the way the UK operates, like in terms of estate agency? Because up to a couple of years ago, there wasn't businesses like yours, there wasn't independent estate agents. You know, if you want to sell a property, you could have probably only got a Slater Hogg or a Countrywide or something like that. Now people they're not going to these big high street agents, and they're dealing with independents who can offer a better level of customer service. Do you think can you see any sort of changes, more people switching to your type business model?
I've thought about this loads, and do you know what I honestly think? Somebody was telling me about this the other day, and I totally agree with it as well, because I've been thinking about it. All the estate agents should get in a room and decide this is what we charge as a minimum. See, that's 1%, and then because there's another 2 agents, I'll take it down to 0.8% for you, and I'll chip a bit off my marketing and that. What does that bring? It brings a shite service, 100%, because they're not going to be interested in trying. They want, of course, they want to say it because they want to get their fee, but they'll probably they're not going to go above and beyond for you. They're not going to give you. See, these independent estate agents, if you're going to sell your property, I'm not saying it has to be with us, but you should actually look at them a lot quicker than you should look at your bigger names, your high street agents, as we all know who they are. You know, there's probably 4 or 5 of them that are, you know, are the other franchises, people buy into them, and then, you know, they just kind of act as a normal estate agent as such. Believe that's the way it works anyway, I'm not 100% sure, but like I just feel that there has to be more of it's a race to the bottom. It's a total race to the bottom, that way of working for the estate agents, I feel, and especially the well, I don't know if I should say them, but the PBs of the world, you know, and you know, they're an absolute shambles. I'm sorry if anybody's listening or watching that works for them or that, but Jesus, man, they are ridiculous the way they actually work. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
PB?
No.
No,
I don't. Just spit it out.
Purple bricks.
Oh, right, okay.
They've done now, but
they are terrible.
I'm sorry, man. They are anybody that signs up for them, I really feel sorry for, because they bought into whatever market message they're putting out now. But scary the way they work, honestly.
Right.
But yeah, to answer your question, I genuinely feel that the independent estate agents, tougher work, by the way, harder work, especially some of these Keller Williams agents and whatnot, but a good way to get your foot in the door on property, and really to give it a bash and to experience a lot of the agency part of it, because you're doing everything yourself right away when you're involved in that. But answer your question, I do feel like over the next few years there will be a shift. Whether it's doing it to our model or the way we work, I'm not sure. Whether it's just more independent, higher fees getting charged, I feel like there has to be a change. There has to be a change in that, because it's such hard work. It's such hard work for 1%, for 0.8%. That's I mean, it's $100,000 house, and you're charging 0.8%. That's nothing, by the way, for the amount of work you do.
I know.
So I feel like I do feel like there is a sort of mini shift happening. I think it will take a long time. I just hope it starts growing. Because I feel like it will help. It will help everybody, and it will help owners of properties get a better service.
I was going to say that's the only thing that really matters, isn't it? Is the person with the problem, and the amount of people that can provide a solution to their problem. But and you know, a business like yours is the only one I've seen that can offer all the solutions.
I feel like I genuinely feel like that maybe goes against us at times, because some of the stuff
too much choice, maybe.
Too much choice. Some of the stuff that I'm working on now for my network business is like one offer. You've got one offer, and you go with that offer. And that's a lot about, you know, the Hermoses of the world and Russell Brunsons and stuff like that. You know, you've got one offer. You need to put everything into that offer and put it out there. Whereas we've got several offers, and my full business is several offers. You know, we can sell it, we can buy it from you, we can renovate it, we can let it. Even just in terms of the sales business, it's like, right, so that's how we've kind of simplified it, as to what do you want? We don't even bother saying we can do this, this, this and this. They tell us, and then we go, this sounds like this is what you need. And then we start to kind of go down that path.
Build it around that.
We build it round them. So it's like, so this is what we can do for you then. This is an option we can give you. So we genuinely do always have an option, just because of the way we're set up. But we've stopped, like you say, like it's like we can do this, this and this, because a confused mind will buy nothing, and you kind of lose them, and then they start to think too good to be true a lot of the time as well, you know. So
no, I think that approach is far better, because the more choice you get, the more confused you are.
100%.
And if you turn it round and let them feel like they're in the driving seat, then they feel like they've still got a little bit of control over
Yeah.
whatever
But
decision
it's
they're going to
all about
make.
them.
You know,
It's
they're
always
not
all
getting
about-
told exactly.
It's like it is all about them. And see, a lot of people coming into property, they need to realise they're actually coming into sales, because it's property is just the sort of vehicle. Like you're in sales here, and it's going in to give them a low ball offer and say that wall needs to come down, that kitchen comes out and stuff. That's somebody's house. Do you know what I mean? And I'm talking more off market here, but I've seen that a lot of time. But it's like, it's what do they want? See if you can establish what they want. Sometimes if you're not quite set up and you're at the start, you might not have that option, but somebody will have that option where you can go like, do you know something? I'm not the right person for you, but I know somebody is. See, that honesty and transparent, that goes further than try to bullshit your way through it or something like that. And then once they're telling you what they want, it's so much easier. Like the sales aspect of property, I feel so much easier if you can just put them first rather than put yourself first. And don't get me wrong, at the start, first couple of years, I was very much, how do I make money at this? And I could flip this, but I need to go low ball offer and stuff like that. And now as the business has grown and my mindset has changed a wee bit, you get so much more out of putting them first.
Yeah, definitely.
It becomes a lot easier as well to sell. I say my background in the motor trade, and let's be honest, right? I suppose a lot of sales environments, specifically the motor trade, doesn't have a good reputation, right? But that's because of people having that reverse mentality. They're trying to sell something to somebody instead of just finding out what does the person want to buy. And see if you find out what they want to buy, the rest is a home run.
I heard you say that in Barry's, I know.
Just find out what they want to buy. You know, why if somebody, getting back to the motor trade, why do you want to try and sell somebody a 2-seater convertible if they've got 6 children? You know, just find out a bit about them and you'll find out what they want to buy. And the rest becomes very, very easily. It's not about us, as you said, it's about them and always about them. And that's separate. I suppose there's always take the positive everything when there's the not so good salespeople, whether it's the motor trade or the property world, right? Then it just puts us on the forefront when you go in as genuine and show them all the options
That's right.
and not try to sell them something.
I've got deals, like a couple of my assisted sales, one in particular that I speak about quite a lot was down in Greenock. Excuse me. And I listened to the woman just moan about her husband for half an hour. So I was standing there getting like a barrel about her husband. And I was like, yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. And, just being able to kind of come to the level she was at that day and kind of understanding. And the one thing she said after that was, I really like you, son. The last guy that was in here didn't give a toss. And you've got an in, you've kind of got a wee bit of an in there.
You've got a wee bit of a win.
Exactly, because she's like, well, he's just listened to me moan for half an hour. The last guy's probably in what he was doing. It's not made any sort of lasting impression on her. And she said that, and that was the first time that ever happened to me. And ever since then, it's happened a lot, a good few times, because if you can just go to somebody's, go to the level they're at and being able to talk to that person just as a normal person rather than
just listen.
Just listen. So I've heard it a few times. I didn't like that last guy because of such and such or whatever. Because somebody, like you say, somebody's are going in as maybe hard salesman or pushy or low ball offers or whatever,
or just thinking about themselves.
That's
the difference.
I think you're always going to win out to anyway if you can build that trust, rapport. You're going to make a money, even if it's just a fee that's maybe it's really tight and it's not going to suit you to buy or whatever. You can maybe just, even if you're referring it. We pay £1,500 for a referral if somebody brings us a sale of a property. We'll pay a half hour buyer's fee to that person. So even if it's a case of this is the work, bring them to me.
But you definitely, I mean, I'd imagine you probably will, just based on the way you come across, and quite caring. But when you're in our world, what I think we gets overlooked a lot of time by people who's not in the property world, right, is we are getting involved in traumatic situations. Especially when people are wanting a quick sale. We all know the reasons behind it. Whether it's death, divorce, separation, whatever it may be. You're actually getting involved into somebody's personal situation. So you really need to be quite caring and compassionate and sometimes quite sensitive to the nature and genuinely want to help them. And I think a lot of the time when you get, I'm not saying get caught up in it, but when you do get involved with that, you generally do want to help these people, and you generally do start to maybe think, hold on, how can I maybe think out the box here to try and help this person, because I really do want to sell it for them, I really do want to buy it for myself and try and help them, because you're getting caught up in a lot of...
You're 100% spot on. Like a couple that we've got from the empty home scheme, one of them, the ninja one. If you've seen it, my
Yes,
socials,
I've
one
seen
in
that.
Paisley.
So
that was
how you get in that to even film the content in the first place? I don't know.
There was rats, foxes, a lot in there. We had to get environmental health, but like that was a woman that was in like serious, the depressed state she was in was really, really quite serious. It was really, really sensitive to sort of navigate that one. And honestly, like, again, it's one of the ones when I'm sitting talking about it now, it's like Adam was kind of dealing with that, but that was one of his first sort of main, whoa, this is quite a situation, and how we navigated that and how compassionate we were and stuff like that. We got the deal, and we made money off it, good money off it, because we done all the right things at the start. We gave her what she wanted ultimately as well. We helped her out a shit ton along the way with just different things that we were doing. And we bought it, sold the scene as well, no home report, anything like that. It was, and with all that, has to come a bit in it for us as well. That's the way it works, of course, as well. So, but yes, some of the situations as well, you are dealing with distressed sellers at the end of the day a lot of time. They don't come thick and fast, few and far between, but once you do get one and it's like, there's really something went drastically wrong in their life or whatnot, and it's you just need to tread a lot more carefully than you would just like, this is offer, or let's take it to market. There's a lot more going on to it.
Yeah. It does certainly open your eyes when you see what goes on behind closed doors. The one that I've just bought just now doing a renovation, I'm not going into the details of it, right? But when you go into that, and it's not as bad as the Ninja Flip, right? It's probably the Ninja Flip minus having the stuff in it, right? But the person that lived in that was quite well known, had quite a big job.
Right. Find that, by the way. You find that. They go at normal jobs and kind of they're living this almost normal life outside their life with this house and stuff.
And I suppose, if they're in these kind of high pressure jobs and they're so focused on that, there's something, again, it's bad thing, something's got to give. But
Something else goes.
What I was going to say is if I showed you this person, right, very well spoken, very well presentable, you'd never ever matched it with a house.
Really?
And it's like that's when you go, you'd never know it was behind closed doors, and without being involved in this world, you wouldn't see that. You would think this person was staying in a big stately mansion. Certainly, and that's the truth of it, but it certainly opens your eyes, and you do become want to help these people.
Yeah. Aye, and it's a sweet feeling as well once you actually get it over the line and you get that call or that message. Thanks very much. It's like everybody in business and property is we're here to make money. We're here to make good money because we put a lot of good time and effort and we build our businesses. We spend money and we grow and invest in our education. Whatever we're doing, we want to make money. Anybody that says it's all about helping them and it's all just that's nonsense as well, because we obviously want something off it as well, but if you can actually put, as I say, going back to put them first, what is it they want, and sometimes if you're taking a bit less but you're still making, for everything else you're going to get out of that deal, and then that thank you at the end,
it makes it worth it.
It's 100%.
Definitely.
Then off the back of that becomes referrals generally, and before you know it, your arms
It's
growing.
what I say as well. A lot of people when they're trying to get their first deal and they're looking for 30 grand in a flip, I'm like, go and get a flip with 5 or 10 grand in it. Go and just do, because see everything you're going to get off the back here, all the social media content, all the learnings you're going to get. You might get a wee offer over a home report and then you've made it a really good deal. Try and think about just getting your foot in the door with something rather than waiting on this unicorn deal and all money out deal and everything. Just go and get you might not even make that much money in your first one. I thought there's a bigger play
There's a bigger
there.
picture.
Aye, 100%. That should me off on a tangent again.
I do agree with you, but because I think it's back to the education, you can spend as much education and you've not got the experience. Just go and get the experience. Even if it doesn't make you a lot of money, you've got the experience and you've made some money rather than spending money to gain no experience.
100%. Exactly.
100%. Aye.
But what's the kind of talking about? Would I right in me saying the sort of Milhome Cottage? Is that the kind of biggest sort of deal you've done? Talk about a kind of.
That's probably,
because that was certainly one that was I'd imagine got a lot of traction in social media.
Aye, that was a cracker, to be honest. Probably the biggest one I've done was my commercial to Resi in Ayr. So that was converting an accountant's office to a 4-bed townhouse and a 1-bed basement flat.
Wow.
And then we put that in the market at the time that Liz Truss made that announcement. The property market fell off a cliff, and we're getting close to Christmas. We had private investment. It was squeaky bum time, but managed to get a cash buyer from America that paid 25 grand over Home Report combined. So we sold that for 550 grand. We made good money on that. Millhome Cottage, we didn't actually make that good money on it.
Right,
We took an offer under Home Report to get it away. Similar situation. Took a bit longer. Issues with building warrant. Always fucking issues with building warrant. And building control, I should say, sorry. And it was coming to the end of the loan agreement for the investor. So we actually went over that loan agreement by 2 months by the time it went into conveyancing. We always have a clause in our contract anyway that they get, I think it was like 1% or 2% extra every month anyway.
Right.
So it was absolutely no bother. It's always important that you include that in loan agreements, I feel, as well. Just 100%. So, but yeah, we took an offer. I think we got the Home Report at 370 and we took an offer at 350.
Right,
so we did take a bit less. We didn't make what we thought on it. And it was a cracking project. It was a stunning finish. But in hindsight, we probably didn't look at the location was fine because it was close to the motorway, it was close to the wee town. One of the things somebody picked up on was there's no walking path. There's no path to the town.
Right.
You literally need to walk on the side of the road, the wee dirty bit, or you need to drive. And that's just something that you're like, we didn't even think about that full way through doing that project.
Yeah.
And it's wee things like that you pick up that sets you, like the commercial resin set us up for doing something like this, that big conversion, we putting an extension on it and everything like that. But it's wee things like that you learn during your projects. It sets you up again, but also kind of almost makes you think, why did we not pick that up? And again, you're learning and you're picking things up. But listen, that was a good project. Still made money, but no regrets doing it. Anything like that, brilliant. Absolutely was great for my social media. It boosted my social media quite a bit as well.
It was a stunning property. The standard to finish on it was unbelievable.
And we've got one now we were converting in Earth, which is Falkirk, a pub into 3 units.
Right.
We've bought the upper units. We own the full building now. We're going to use that as hopefully SA, all going well.
Right.
So that'll be another kind of bigger project. But do you know something? I actually just prefer the smaller things. We individual units, we like assisted sales, or we flips that you do and stuff like that. Like, these are all great and they're good and they're good to showcase and stuff like that. And hopefully all going well, that'll be a really good unit. You know, the 4 units, but
especially next to, if it's Earth with the Grangemouth shutting down.
That's the hope there, aye. So, but we individual units, just chipping away at them, and you make, your 20, 30 grand, you're on to the next one, or you hold it and you pull a lot of your money out. Yeah. They're brilliant.
Yeah, excellent.
So before we wrap it up then, any advice for anybody that's maybe, in employment, they've got a wee idea, whether it's property related or not, and they just think, should I not? At the same point you were sitting at and going, should I stick offshore, should I not?
I ran my first webinar not long ago, just telling my story, my journey about it, and the one thing that I just kept coming back to is you just need to take action. You just need to go. See, if you're anything like me and you get a seed in or anything like any of us probably, and you get this wee seed about property and it starts growing and growing and growing, and that's just eating away at you, go and try it. Go and try. Go and get Adam came for the army and got a job with me. Now he's on project number 4. He's made a lot of money, good commissions, everything like that. Go and try and get a job with somebody in property as well, just to try and get your foot in the door. How can you help them? Maybe offer to work for free for somebody. Show them what you can do. And reach out, be a pest. I was an absolute pest at the start, by the way, and Barry Wilson would tell you that, and so would another few other people that I was on the phone to them like, I've stuck with this and this and that. But it's like what I said at the start, like, people see how keen and eager you are.
Yeah.
And then ultimately I ended up selling one of Barry's properties, and then we formed a really good relationship, and I've done that with several other people as well. But I would have 100% just say, you need to give it a go. It's not going to be easy, and you need to realise that it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard work. There's going to be you need to dedicate a lot. This is an old classic. The time you've got, you need to actually use it wisely. You need to dedicate. You do, because if you've got 2 hours at night because you're working Monday to Friday 9 to 6, and you get 2 hours at night that you're using the 2 hours for, try and use it to actually take something forward that week. And then on a Saturday or a Sunday, are you willing to dedicate a wee bit of time to trying to make it work as well? But I just feel that there's so many ways that you can do it. but you need to just go and do it.
Yeah.
You need to, like, coming off the course and stuff and sitting doing nothing gets you nowhere.
Yeah.
You need to
Exactly.
just try and do something. There is loads of different avenues. It doesn't need to be sourcing or whatever. You know, as I say, there's, you can sit here and talk about all the different ways to get in,
Yeah.
but you need to just try and find
Yeah.
your in.
Listen, I think that's great advice. So for anybody that's listening, we will put all your social handles on the show notes below.
Yep.
And listen, thanks very much.
No,
I appreciate your
it.
time, mate. It's been
Aye,
good.
thanks
I've
very much.
learned a lot, so I appreciate it.